Hello and welcome back to the Not the Old Firm YouTube channel. My name is Ben Banks. Today's video a recap of St Mirren 1, Hearts 2 from the Scottish Premiership at the weekend. A pretty decent game to watch, even though there were perhaps more goals elsewhere in the Premiership over the weekend. Still a very exciting game to watch. I think there was plenty of talking points to come from it anyway. We'll hear from St Mirren manager Jim Goodwin and Hearts boss Robbie Neilson in this video, as well as they spoke post-match. In terms of the game itself, general overview, Hearts continued their 100% start to the season, 6 wins in a row for them now, including the Premier Sports Cup group stages. Andy Halliday filling in at left wing back for Stephen Kingsley. Stephen Kingsley is playing left-sided centre-back in Robbie Neilson's 3 at the back system. So Alex Cochrane moved from left wing back to centre-back, and Andy Halliday moved across from midfield into left wing back. That change did put him in position to score a brilliant chipped ball over his former Rangers teammate Jack Annick in the St Mirren goal, and then Liam Boyce as well finishing off a nice move. Jack Annick could perhaps have got a hand to it, but yeah, I don't think there'll be too many pointing fingers at the St Mirren goalkeeper. He has been excellent for them. Perhaps, as Jim Goodwin said post-match, 9 times out of 10 he maybe saves that. And that was 2-0. The game looked over there. Joe Shaughnessy, centre-back, went up the other end for St Mirren and got a goal back. It looked like they could perhaps nick a draw, but then Kristian Dennis, no later, couldn't have been on the park for more than 10 minutes, and it couldn't have been more than 10 seconds after Hearts' kick-off from the St Mirren goal was he sent off for what looked like he'd clattered Peter Haring in the Hearts midfield in the head area and was sent off. So that pretty much brought a conclusion to the game with 10 men. St Mirren did throw bodies forward, but they simply didn't have enough in the arsenal to secure a victory. I think overall, Hearts maybe just about shaded. They definitely started the better of the two. They were able to pass out from the back via Craig Gordon and were able to build up play far too easily. To be honest, I think Jim Goodwin recognised that. They started pushing Jamie McGrath onto the Hearts goalkeeper, and that seemed to work for St Mirren. They did dominate the ball after that, more or less. I think the possession stats ended about 50-50 due to how much Hearts had dominated the early stages, and they did have short bursts of possession here and there throughout the game, but they were very good Hearts, I must admit. It's not perhaps free-flowing pretty football. It's still decent. They're still decent sparks. Gary Mackay-Steven looks like a really good player again at Premiership level. I say again, I mean, just in terms of he's back at Premiership level after being in the MLS with New York City. Spent 6 months in the Championship with Hearts, and now you can tell he's Premiership quality and was really good for them. Liam Boyce looks set for at least 10-15 goals this season, a minimum. Brilliant striker at this level. Andy Halliday, you can go through the full team really. Hearts put in a really confident and assured display. They go into this weekend's Premier Sports Cup last 16 tie away to Celtic and plenty of confidence, having beaten them 2-1 in the League One a couple of weeks ago. St Mirren, on the other hand, have got 1 point from 6 in their opening 2 league games. It's the first competitive defeat of the season, so there won't be alarm bells ringing by any chance, but perhaps they'd have looked to have taken at least a point from this game. They felt they maybe should have got the victory against Dundee at Dens Park on the opening day, and perhaps if it wasn't for Kristian Dennis's red card, they might have rallied and got that second goal, because they did put not having many shots at goal. They were in and around the Hearts box often, so who knows? It's a case of what could have been for St Mirren. But both teams again, and they both look, I think they're both contenders for that top 6 spot. You can tell they are quite even. I think Hearts maybe just get a wee bit more in the final third. Gary Mackay-Steven, Liam Boyce, Benny Banningham, who I think is going to be a great player for them. I know he's not particularly an attacking player, but he passes through the lines of attack really well. So I think that perhaps could be the difference between the two sides, but they are very, very even. Right, move on to the post-match interviews. First of all, we'll hear from Jim Goodwin, speaking about Dennis's red card, how he's seen the game, and a few other different bits and bobs.
Yeah, very frustrating. I think the first 20 minutes we didn't do well enough, and I think Hearts deservedly went in front at that moment in time. It took us till after the goal to get the grips with the shape and the system, and I felt after that we coped better, and we carried more of a threat ourselves. There was too often one of the Hearts centre halves was stepping into midfield and making up that extra man, and we needed to release one of our midfielders a little bit sooner. We done that. After that, we asked Jamie McGrath to go and press the centre back, and Alan Power to come up a little bit higher, and the back lads to squeeze the game. I felt we were just sitting a little bit too deep. We were a little bit too cagey initially, and maybe showed Hearts a little bit too much respect, to be honest. So, like I said, Hearts deserved a lead at half time. I thought second half we were better, and you could say that Hearts have obviously got their noses in front and they've got a lead that they can defend, but I think we played the majority of the game in Hearts' territory. Second goal is the bit that frustrates me most, because Boyce is always wanting to shift that onto his stronger right foot. We're too deep, we don't get out, we don't put enough pressure on the ball, we don't get a block in, and I'm not going to be too critical of Jack Hannick, because he's been one of our best players in the last season, without a shadow of a doubt. He was up there for player of the season, but 9 times out of 10 I think Jack would save that. And at 1-0 we're always still in the game. At 2-0 you've got a mountain.
You're back in it, and then Dennis was sent off. How frustrating was that?
Yeah, of course it's very disappointing and frustrating at the time, because I still believe there was enough time on the clock. I knew we'd get a chance at 2-0. We did. A really well worked goal. Tanzer puts a brilliant ball in the box for Joe Shaughnessy. We had to throw everything at it at that point, and that's why we did throw Joe up top in the end, and we just went 2 for 2 at the back. If we keep 11 men on the ball, there's no doubt we give ourselves a better chance on the pitch. We give ourselves a better chance to go and cause Hearts more problems. But it is what it is. Unfortunately, Kristian's saw a bit of red mist, and it looks as if he's caught Herring on the side of the head. He's not a nasty player, Kristian. His disciplinary record down through the years isn't bad. It's just one of those things where Herring has stepped in front of him to try and block him going to put pressure on the ball, and the referee sends him off. Look, it's not ideal for Kristian. Obviously he's going to miss 2 games now, and he's a goal scorer. He's been frustrated not to start today, and frustrated not to start the game previous against Dundee. Curtis Main and Eamon Brophy have developed a decent enough relationship during pre-season and through the League Cup campaign, so that's why they've been given the nod in the last 2 games. But yeah, you're wanting an impact from your substitutes. You're wanting them to go on there and freshen things up and cause the opposition 1 or 2 problems, and unfortunately Deno wasn't on the park long enough to do it.
Now we move on to Robbie Neilson. Pleased with how his side performed. Talking of the performance, what went well, Alex Cochrane's versatility at left centre back, and unhappy with challenges on Gary Mackay-Steven. He was hit a good few times in the game. Once in the first minute, Greg Kilty went up and elbowed him in the head. I don't think it was malicious, but it did catch him pretty severely. And Robbie Neilson, let's just say on the touchline, wasn't best pleased. And then a few different other occasions he was clattered a bit. He thinks, Robbie Neilson, at least anyway, that challenges that were getting put on Mackay-Steven should be left in the past of Scottish football, but he appreciates that flair players are always going to get smashed in the SPFL. Here's what Robbie Neilson had to say after the victory over Sheffield.
Look, I've been pleased with the start of the season, but I keep emphasising it first, it's just the start. We had a really good League Cup campaign, which is to Great Parkhead next Sunday, and then we've had 2 good results. I think I spoke about it before the game, it's 2010 the last time we won down here, and it's a very difficult place to come and get 3 points, and we managed to get it. When you come to play against St Mirren, I've watched a lot of them. I watched a bit about them last season as well, and they're a strong team. They've got a lot of cohesion in their team, because they've kept the same team, most of them, for the last couple of years. The general place, and they just added 1 or 2, so that they all know each other's game. They cause you a lot of problems because you get physicality and pace up front. So it's always a tough place to come.
Liam does a great job reading the line for you as well, doesn't he?
He does. So he started up front, and we moved him back into the 10, and we moved him into midfield, and we moved him back up again, and then we eventually took him off. So he's very adaptable, and no matter where he plays, he'll pick up the pockets, he'll deal with the ball. So we're pleased with him. But I thought Andy did well as well. Asked him to play the wing back area, and again he's been moved a bit this season. So it was a great finish, and even the position he took up was great. He's generally wing back a bit wide. We'd asked him to come back in the pocket, and we knew that times they're going to have the ball, because they're going to a back 3, and then as soon as you step out, press it, and then bang it over the top and fight for the second ball. So you kind of have to give the ball up a wee bit to make sure that you pick up the second ball. But I thought with being the back 3, especially Alec Coughlin, a young boy, having to stand up with physicality, and Brophy did very well.
Showed his versatility, didn't he?
Sorry?
Showed his versatility.
He can play wing back, left centre half, and he's just learned the game. But I thought today was very good because, you know, in my opinion, the two strikers for St Mirren, as a pair, probably one of the best in the league because they work so well together. You know, one will come short, one will spin, physicality for flick on, so it's very, very hard to play against.
Mackay-Steven was there another couple of challenges for you, and you got your yellow card, you enjoyed it.
I just think there was a couple there that I complain too much about him, but a few of them were unacceptable, you know, especially the one in the first minute where he, you know, elbows on the face, and you know, the fourth official was 5 yards away, doesn't get anything, you know. So Scottish football, you know, the flair players are going to get smashed. That's just what happens in Scottish football. In my opinion, I don't like it. You know, they did it 15-20 years ago, but nowadays you shouldn't be doing it. You know, it's one of the reasons that, you know, it's getting better now, but when you get to Europe, you know, we're going, Scottish players going to smash people when they get sent off. You know, so that challenge for me was just like not good enough. But Gary's a technically a brilliant player, and the only way what teams will stop him is just to try to smash him. You know, a couple of times it happened today, even the one where he gets injured there where I get booked, you know. But, so when the referee wants to referee it, and we'll deal with it.
And that's all we've got time for on this review. We hope you have enjoyed. Do remember to subscribe to the channel and like the video. It is much appreciated. As I said in the previous one, we are pushing for 1,000 subscribers. That's the sort of goal I want to have. I've not really set a timeline on it. It has taken us maybe the best part of 10 months to get to near enough 800. So a couple hundred, say in the next few months, I think would be achievable. But please do subscribe if you haven't already. It would help us out a fair bit. And until next time, take it easy.